Good evening, Reds, wherever you are. Very, very good to be with you guys. And again, we have the very last game of the US Tour. Can you call this a friendly Liverpool against Manchester United? I mean, I don't think you can, but then again, it's Manchester United against Liverpool. And as you can see, long time no see to Mr. Connor Niblett from the Cop Council. How are you, mate?
It's been a while. I think we were just talking about this off camera. It's been too long. But yeah, thank you for having me on, and hopefully everyone's had a good summer. Of course, we've not been short of football to cover, but hopefully we do get to see a bit more excitement over the next month, certainly around Liverpool Football Club.
Yes, absolutely indeed. And yeah, we end the US tour in South Carolina. Now this is the big thing. This is the first ever game in South Carolina involving Premier League clubs. It has never happened before. So Liverpool and Manchester United are making history by going to South Carolina, the Williams-Brice Stadium. Yes. Look, we've obviously had the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. So yeah, let's have the Williams-Brice Stadium. But yeah, look, we'll obviously speak about Arsenal. We will speak about Arsenal as well. Maybe we'll get on to Manchester United as well. And yes, I don't have any Manchester United guests. I did ask if anyone was available, but unfortunately, they all said they weren't. So hard luck.
They're all into hiding at the minute, Doug. As soon as United have like a bad couple of weeks in the season, it's like they won't be existing for the season yet again.
Absolutely. Let's say hello to a few people because I've seen a few of you in there. Chris is in. Hello, Chris. Hope you're well. Big up, mate. Hope you are. Then he corrected himself and then he said, "Big up, lads." Well, there you go. And Curlers is in. Hello, Curlers. Hope you are well. Jesus, anything for a quick buck. Yeah. Look. I mean, you guys are the penalty shootout with Arsenal. Especially after you lost 2-1, and then obviously won 4-3 on penalties. Obviously, the Americans do it differently. They do it differently over there as well. And yes, curlers, we will get on to Manchester United because you have had, let's just say, a bit of a nightmare when it comes to injuries is concerned as well. But let's talk about the Arsenal game because I think there was a lot to be positive about that game, Connor. I thought the passing movement for especially Salah's goal was really, really good. And I actually thought the first half we looked really good against Arsenal.
Yeah, no, we did. It's obviously early implements into Liverpool under Arne Slot. I think, like as you mentioned, we saw plenty of good things in that first half. I think people could have gone to bed, I think, after that first half, and then read about the second half personally. But I think for everyone who stayed up and watched, including myself, like it was very, very impressive. Again, and look, pre-season you can't really write too many things off because, again, look, if we were to write certain players and certain styles off in pre-season, then again, it would be ridiculous to do that. But what we have seen, again, that the triangles, between, again, on the left and in the center, I think that what the thing for Liverpool that's most promising is the fact now that the midfielders look like they're going to have a lot of encouragement to carry the team. Like we've seen under Jurgen Klopp in the past, where we've seen, again, the left back and right back be the creative force for Liverpool. It now looks like it's going to actually be our creative midfielders creating big chances for Liverpool. And again, we'll probably speak a bit later on, but I think this year, again, the main big stars, I think, for Liverpool this season will be Harvey Elliott, it'll be Dom Szoboszlai, it'll be McAllister's as well. I think those three in particular, in my opinion, again, McAllister's not even back yet, but what we've seen of already from the likes of Harvey Elliott and Dom Szoboszlai is very, very encouraging, and it's exciting to see a different style of this Liverpool team.
Absolutely, and I think you've got to say, I've predicted already, this is a big season for Harvey Elliott. I honestly think he is just getting better and better and better, and I think the one thing you could probably say, maybe not to sort of Klopp's criticism almost, but it was almost like he sort of underused Elliot a little bit. Would you agree with that?
I think for the way we play, I think it's a bit difficult because I think all of us have had that conversation, haven't we, throughout the summers and throughout the seasons when we've looked at Harvey Elliott and we've kind of gone, what is he under Jurgen Klopp? Is he a winger? Is he a midfielder? Again, when he broke through Liverpool's team, I think at the start of the 21-22 season, again, he was more acting like a number 10 compared to a classic Klopp number 8. And what we're currently seeing under Arne Slot, I think, is now more to his style. I think when I think Curtis Jones has spoke about it, Harvey Elliott spoken about it, even Fabio Carvalho has even spoken about how the midfielders now are allowed a bit more freedom in their play, because of course under Jurgen Klopp, you needed those physical midfielders, you needed the guys that were going to run the hard yards, and again now it seems like we're a bit more structured, a bit more like Manchester City in that sense of, again, this pass, and the passages of play work out in certain elements, isn't it? So, again, I think Elliot, will have a big season. Like we were speaking about last year in terms of, again, Phil Foden, such a breakout year for him in the Premier League. Like, again, I think this year might be Harvey Elliott's year, that he has a massive breakout year. And then towards the end of the season, we're speaking about him being one of the top players in the Premier League for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I think he's going to have a very, very big season ahead of us. Let's go into the chat because we have missed a few comments. 200 in this nightmare settings. Yeah, we will get to Manchester United. We look fresh. I thought we looked really, really good. A couple of nervy moments. I'll be honest. Kelleher was. I watched the highlights and I've got to say, Kelleher, 2 times he was lucky. He was very, very lucky because on another day, I think one of them goes in the back of the net. But look, it's pre-season. Nice to get your mistakes out of the way. If anybody hasn't seen the Crystal Palace Crawley game, Joachim Andersen, literally, he's given the ball played to the goalkeeper, slips, and the Crawley player just completely goes into an empty net. So at least they're getting the mistakes out of the way to begin with. But yeah, I think we looked really, really fresh. I think as well, you've got to say, Sepp Vandenberg's really impressed me. I think him and Kwanzaa are looking really, really good. We will get to cost us because I think a lot of people have kind of noticed that. Yeah, a bit wary about him potentially being sort of the backup left back next season. But look, it was a very, very good win. It was a very, very good win indeed. Anfield Uncle Rod, hello mate. Hope you're well. We're doing very well, my friend. We are doing very, very well. I will get you on the channel very, very soon, my friend. Curlers says you looked by far the better side in that game. The question is, do you have enough depth in the team? Well, we do have players coming back, Curlers. All the players that were obviously at the Copa America, so your Allisons, Nunes, McAllister, obviously all the ones at the Euros, Van Dijk, Gakpo, who else am I missing? The England lads, Trent, Gomez, they'll be back as well. So we do have players coming back. I think what you'll probably see after this week is, I think what will happen, there will be probably transfer activity. I think there will be players going in and out. I've seen today that I think Owen Beck, has been linked with Celtic again. But I did see as well that they want a permanent deal instead of a loan, which is quite interesting. Get cash for obviously transfers. Uncle Rods agrees with you, Connor. Chris says, we have done the right thing by accessing the squad, and loan players coming back was always going to be the case. Carvalho, Vandenberg, all impressing. Yeah, and that's the main thing about pre-season, isn't it? It's all about the sort of the fringe players impressing. What have you made of Carvalho, actually? A lot has been said about sort of his future, and I think that loan deal at Hull really helped him last season.
I think he's been impressive, like again against Betis, and against Arsenal. Like certainly, again the little combinations, and certainly his goal against Arsenal, I think, was very, very good. but there's something for me. I think he will leave before the end of the transfer window. I think his comments that he made a couple of nights ago when he was speaking about himself, wanting to play in the number 10 position again. It's very interesting now that two managers has seen him as a winger or seen him as a as a creative outside player in terms of Jurgen Klopp and now Arne Slot. Again, that might change potentially when other players come back like Gakpo and Luis Diaz. But for me, I would think Liverpool might cash in on. I don't know about you, Doug. I don't know if anyone else agrees in the chat, but I think Carvalho won't be here. But when the season starts, I think that conversation is going to be sooner rather than later. Again, Carvalho says he wants to stay at the club. Again, if Liverpool want to keep him around as a squad option, I'm not against that either. But if he wants first team football, I don't think he's going to get it at Liverpool, because we said on the wing, again, Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo, they're both ahead of him at the present moment in time. And if he wants to play as a number 10, you've got Harvey there, you've got Dom there. Again, he's going to be third choice in both positions. So is he going to get much game time for that? No, I don't think he is. So I do think he'll go. I think the big question is, who will get him and who can afford him? Because I think Liverpool would want at least 20 million for him, 25 million, the way the market is at the minute. So again, it is more a question of, who could come in for Carvalho? Could he go back to Fulham or something like that? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. Going to be really interesting. I think as well, Sepp Vandenberg is definitely a talking point as well, because I think Arne Slot's probably seen a lot of him and thinks, well, yes, he might want to maybe move, but he's actually very, very a very, very useful part of the squad at this moment in time, and two very good loan deals as well. Elliot is balling out at the moment. Yeah, Harvey Elliott is definitely balling out at the moment. As Uncle Rod says, Harvey Elliott is a baller. Curler says, better he is eased into first team games so his confidence is not dented. Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, he's benefited as well in sort of the system as well. I think the number 10 role, or sort of in that midfield role, is really, really helping his game. He got a couple of goals last season. I think many people remember that from sort of that centrally. So if we see that, then we're going to be very, very happy. Elliot Jones seems to look more happy. Yeah, absolutely. I think Curtis Jones has been very impressive in pre-season so far.
I didn't like him in the Betis game, me personally. I thought he had a really bad game. I know everyone on Twitter really loved it, and I was like, didn't really like it. I thought he was a bit slow on the ball. Again, that's not me hating on Curtis. I think Curtis is a very good midfielder, but I don't know. I think certainly when the season starts, I'd be very intrigued with the pecking order with the midfielders, because it's quite clear Liverpool need to sign a number 6, and I'm guessing we're going to talk about that in a moment as well. But it's quite clear Liverpool need a 6, and who they get obviously will depend in the market and so on. But I do feel like that certainly that left-sided position is very open at the minute, because again you've got Bajcetic could play there if they wanted him to. Tyler Morton, if they're going to keep them around, which I don't think they're going to. But they've got him. They've got Trey Norney as well. He's another top talent. Maka, Gravenberch. Like, we're not struggling for options on the left hand side. For the other 6 as well. But like, I hope that fingers crossed we do get some news in terms of movement in the market anyway for the 6.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely agree with that. Anfield Lad 10, hello, hope you are very well. One of the new subscribers to the channel. Thank you very much for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, guys, I had noticed 84% of you of like non-subscribers are actually watching the channel. So what are you doing? Subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Please do hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate it. And also do check out the COP Council as well. Harvey Elliott will cook under Slot and will challenge Shobo for this number 10 role. Yes. It was quite interesting as well that Slot said that we played with like 2 number 10s against Betis, which I thought was quite interesting. But against Arsenal, I think we looked more really fast flowing as well. And let's be honest, Connor, Zinchenko against Salah, that is a mismatch.
I don't even think Arsenal fans like Zinchenko anymore. Like, whenever I watch Arsenal fans go on about Zinchenko, I genuinely, like, I never see one Arsenal fan now, like, happy about Zinchenko. Like, I don't know what he's done to the club. Like, like, I genuinely, like, I know that he's made mistakes, you know, for certain goals that's cost him the league. But apart from that, like, he hasn't been awfully bad. Anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, it was quite funny. We do need signings. We wouldn't say that many. Just signings of quality, for example, number 6, absolutely, absolutely indeed. Tally ho, Gary. Tally ho, dear boys. Elliot will shine. Carvalho isn't good enough. Well, I think there is probably a conversation to be had. I think he probably plays this game, maybe the Sevilla game, and then I think there is a conversation to be there, because I don't think he's going to be in the squad against Ipswich, if I'm being honest. Billy, hello mate, hope you're well. Good evening, Douglas. Ready for 7 of Manchester United win. dear. Yeah,
funny.
I think if pigs could fly. No, I'm only joking. Anything can happen in pre-season. So one can't wait to see what Slot does with Starwin. Absolutely indeed. And I see rival fans saying good things about Slot and his tactics. Gives me encouragement and confidence that he will do well for us, and nothing falls apart. Yeah, look, you get. Well, I'm a rant here because lots of big pages, I won't name them. Liverpool are the only Premier League side to make a signing this season. No, we're not. Barcelona haven't made a signing this season. If you're talking about Premier League, then yes, we haven't made a signing. But we are not the only team to have not made a signing this summer. Barcelona are. I think there's probably another couple of teams you could probably name in there. But you use Liverpool's name for, clicks and this like. So I agree. Connor, Uncle Rod's was keep Fabio. Interesting. As Chris said, Carvalho needs to play in at 10, otherwise we have to cash in. Absolutely. Anfield Lad says, I would love Fabio to stay in. Slot could use him at left wing, number 10, but you might have to cash in on him. Yeah, I think that.
Oh.
So Trey Motis Neone is the next big thing. Is that not Morris?
Haven't got a Scooby-Doo.
I'm not sure. As well. 1892 Reds, hello. I'm guessing this is Luke. Connor wants Joe Gomez as a 6, probably mistake.
It's because I said selling Joe Gomez would be a mistake for Liverpool, and I still stand.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Luke.
Hope you well, Luke. Hope you well. Stefan Baccetic will be the 6, says Gary. Honestly, not trying to stir the pot by him both. Your opinions this season, make or break for Nunes? I just don't think he suits the Premier League. Well, we don't know we don't know the sort of the extent of what's happening with his Copa America antics.
Nothing now. It won't be.
It doesn't look like it. I do think it is make or break. If he does have a quiet season, then I do think he maybe gets sold in the summer. But if he has a good season, he is capable, isn't he, Connor? He is capable of doing very good things for Liverpool.
Yeah. Again, the first half of last season, Darwin was one of Liverpool's top players. Let's not take that away from him. I'd be intrigued to see how Slot, what Slot does different compared to Jurgen in terms of, again, his preparation for Darwin Nunes, because again we're playing with one up top now. It's not going to be like what we've seen over the last couple of years, where again it's 3 forwards basically, and obviously playing inside forwards. It's more going to be again controlled and then attack and so on. And I think with Darwin, we already know that Arne Slot very much wants to work with him as quick as possible. When he first came into the club, again Darwin Nunes was again his primary player to play with. And I think that again, what would be a successful season for Darwin Nunes? again, last season he got what 20 plus goals in all competitions. Well, I think he got 31 goals in all competitions for club and country. Like again, if he could get similar to that or above it, because again he is producing good numbers, but it's just again we all know Darwin Núñez could get even better numbers, and that's scary. And if Arne Slot can get the better, well, unlock that in that sense, and getting him to score bloody 40 goals a season, then that'd be perfect, wouldn't it? For us, but
absolutely, it certainly would be. As well, yes, as Carla says, hit the likes as well. Here we go. Don't do that, Club Penguin, Puffle Douglas. I want 100 people watching who you will know who you're on about. Yes, absolutely. Douglas, there are rumours that Liverpool are interested in Celtic youngster Joe Hendry. Thoughts?
Just ignore Luke.
Not a player I've heard. Not a player I've heard. Let's just put it that way. As well. Carla says, in fairness, Barca are under FFP threat. Absolutely. Gary, as he says, like and subscribe to the stream. Yes, I thought it was Trey Morris Neone typo, Douglas.
To be fair, I think Barcelona's main signing is getting Thiago in as the coaching staff. I think that's the only signing that they're going to make this summer.
I did see that they might be getting Olmo. I did see that. Gakpo will shine. He looks like he is on fire. He had a fantastic Euros. He was one of number 6 players who actually won the Golden Boot at the Euros. Harry Kane was one of those. I think it was a Georgian player. Dani Olmo was one. There's loads of people were on 3 goals. Amazon News coming out as a 3 signing eminence as Anfield Rods. Well, wait and see. Darwin Núñez needs to click this season. Slot is ruthless. He won't give him long. Absolutely. Núñez will score 40 goals this season. He is very capable. He is very, very capable as well. Núñez is capable of, I think, 2 seasons was fair amount of time, so I'm out on him, unfortunately, but make me eat my words. In Arnie, Ricky, we trust. Dear. And hello, Spencer. As well. Connor believes that all that we need to say regarding Joe Hendry.
Luke, go away.
Luke, I hope you're well anyway. As well. One of the very, very good things in that game actually was the clearance from Konza. Now, I'll be honest, when he is running so far fast like that, the one thing you would probably expect is probably an own goal. But how he managed to slide and basically allow it to go back to Keller, I thought was excellent.
Top-notch defending, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think when we spoke about, Keller potentially going to, Newcastle, I think that's quite clearly, why Liverpool wasn't interested at all, because, I think for many people, maybe Joel Konza is maybe the second choice defender at Liverpool at the minute behind Virgil van Dijk. For me, I still think he's third, behind Ibu, but again, I think the margins are so close now between, there's a clear number 1 at Liverpool in terms of Virgil van Dijk, but I think in terms of 2 and 3, I think that margin is very, very slim. It's not just we've got a young prospect in a Joel Konza. Like, look, Jurgen Klopp trusted Joel Konza quite a lot last season, and certainly towards the back end of the season, and even towards throughout the season. I think Joel Konza played in nearly every big away game for Liverpool last year, and that just goes to show that again, people at Liverpool think he can be the next best thing, and hopefully he does go on to do that. Because again, how old is Joel Konza? Like 20, 21?
20.
Like again, he has 13, 14 years playing at the high level. If you're going to go on Van Dijk's, reading, like, again, he's unbelievable talent, and I don't want Liverpool to sell him for anything. Keep him at the club, and hopefully we'll get to, see him develop into the next Virgil van Dijk. All good, lad. Got to go FA Cup tomorrow for the Mighty Sport, and then go take care of us. Well, good luck,
Good luck, mate. Especially after the season you guys had last season was absolutely amazing, as well. Gary's asked, where does Trent play?
Right back.
Yeah, I think so.
simple, like right back.
Simple as that. As simple as that. Tally ho, look, dear boy, says Gary. Niall's in. Hello, Niall. Hope you're well. Yes, the Scottish season kicks off tomorrow. Unbelievable how quickly it has been. Announce the sign of Liverpool, and announce the next one, and the next one after that. Yes, absolutely. Niall, Livingston have got Dunfermline tomorrow. Now, if you had heard Boogie in the morning, he would have said to you that Livingston Dunfermline is a derby. Livingston's in West Lothian and Dunfermline's in Fife, so how can that be a derby? Answers on a postcard, please. But let us talk about Manchester United, shall we? Yes, let's just say that their injury list is growing by the minute. Lenny Yoro is now out for 3 months with I think it's a broken metatarsal, so like a broken foot, which is never nice. Rasmus Højlund picked up a hamstring injury. He's now out for 6 weeks. There's concerns over Marcus Rashford, and there's concerns over Anthony. Now, were you surprised Erik ten Hag remained at Manchester United? Or did you think that when they won the FA Cup, did you think that he was going to stay?
No. I think I've said this so many times that I didn't think he was going to stay Manchester United manager. And even with the Lenny Yoro stuff, never got the meltdown. In the whole situation, like again, and even that, we spoke about it a bit earlier in terms of the signings. Has any signing been an improvement on a team? Like for me, there's only one, and that's Calaflori with Arsenal. I think that he's made them stronger, but apart from that, like I don't think anyone's got significantly better than what they did last year. Like it's still Ten Hag, it's still Manchester United, it's still the way. Again, everything that we've seen of them over the last couple of years. Again, I'm not frightened by Manchester United under Ten Hag. And people go, oh, well, they'll have injury, players back from last season. Again, Manchester United is Manchester United, but on the pitch, they are awful. Like last season, that FA Cup win saved their season. It saved Ten Hag's job. Like if he had lost that game, again, Ineos expected him to lose. Everyone expected Ten Hag to lose, and to be fair, and fair play to him, he won. He got the FA Cup, and that should be something that should be applauded. But even if you're Erik ten Hag, they interviewed people to replace him. Like, how do you move on from that for next season? As soon as things start going badly for United now in the next couple of weeks. Do they sack him straight away? Is the whole... Because for me, I think the Van Nistelrooy stuff, I think, is very interesting. And the whole backroom stuff moving as well, I think, is very interesting. Like, it feels like they are preparing already at the first opportunity to sack Ten Hag. And then they've already got them people in place to replace him for potentially the rest of the season, depending on when there is. But I think as soon as something goes bad at United this season, I think he's gone. The first chance they've got to sack him, he will be gone. I don't know if you think that as well.
Carlos has said there will be gone by Christmas and Ruud be the new manager. I honestly think Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to be the new Manchester United manager. I think this has been coming for as soon as it was announced that Steve McLaren was sort of moving away from sort of Manchester United. And obviously, Ruud van Nistelrooy comes in. I mean, there has been a big change in the backroom staff. I think they've got... Obviously, Ruud came in. They've got a coaching from Ajax, I think, as well. And look, Ruud van Nistelrooy is a very, very good appointment as an assistant manager. I think he is really, really good. But I do think he is to, take that step up. As well, he did it at PSV. He did all right at PSV. He did all right. So I think it does look like, as you say, the first real bad spell that they're in, he will probably be gone. But again, that's not his fault because the squad that they've got I mean, yeah, I know they're trying to get Deadwood. Adam Ambasaka, I think, is meant to be going to West Ham. Fulham, I think, are still wanting McTominay as well. Yeah, they brought in Joshua Zirkzee. He's probably going to have to play games now because obviously of not Marcus Rashford, they have Rasmus Højlund's injury as well. And again, Lenny Yoro as well. Like I've seen a lot of Manchester United fans, especially on Twitter, having a full meltdown because they're like, "Oh, it's going to be blooming Martinez and Evans at the back again." But again, Varane's gone. I'll be honest, Varane was an all right signing, but I think if you look at it as sort of a business point of view, he did miss a chunk of the season, and you've got to say, Johnny Evans, to his credit, at the age of, what is he, 35, 36, he actually stepped in at the right time when they needed him.
You know, and I think it's very telling as well that they are looking at both. I think it's in Mazraoui and De Ligt, I think at the moment from Bayern. I think they're trying to get those deals over the line very quickly. Like again, United, like, because I think even De Ligt, I think we've done videos, haven't we, on De Ligt over the years in terms of, again, Liverpool being interested and so on. But to go from Juventus to Bayern to Manchester United, and again getting replaced by like players like Eric Dyer, for example, at Bayern Munich, it would just goes to show what is wrong with Matthias de Ligt, because the de Ligt that we saw at Ajax was one of the promising centre halves in Europe, like, and now he's the third big club that he's going to. For me, there's a question of why isn't he sticking to a top team or a top club? Again, Juve I can understand in some merit, because again, maybe money wise they need moving, but Bayern Munich, why is he moving from Bayern Munich? Why isn't he the number one guy on that team sheet, and even a new manager? Because it seems to be like as soon as Vincent Kompany came in, straight away I think De Ligt's name was okay. He's going to leave. And I think obviously he'll fit in perfectly at Manchester United, because again they always signed players that are like that. But I think United are very much still a sinking ship, and I think until they get things right, which again they've hoped for the last 10 years, I can't see much difference with United personally.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a very interesting season for them, and I've seen a lot of predictions saying that they might finish top four. I've seen a lot of people say that they might just finish outside the top four. I think people forget they are in the Europa League as well, because we're winning the FA. Actually knocked Newcastle out of Europe altogether, and they threw Chelsea down to the Conference League, which is absolutely hilarious to say the very, very least. But yeah, I still think there's big problems at Manchester United, and it's not going to be a quick fix with Ineos. They've done well, but they do need to bring more players in. And if the news of Fabio potentially coming in, Manchester United have been wanting him for 3, 4, 5 seasons, which is bonkers to say the very, very least. So it does remain to be seen if they get Ugarte. Again, I question why would PSG want to get rid of him. There's obviously something there as well. We all know Ugarte is a very, very good player on his day, but it just does sort of question why PSG are wanting to get rid of him. And again, De Ligt, I think the problem with De Ligt is he moved too early in his career. I think he should have stayed at Ajax when he was in his when he was at his best. And then Juventus, it just didn't go well for him. And then Bayern Munich, look, last season was just an unheard of. I know we can joke about obviously Harry Kane going to Bayern Munich and not winning a thing, but again, Bayern Munich defensively last season were just dreadful, really, really poor. So maybe De Ligt needs another move. Maybe it's just gone a bit stale for him at Bayern Munich. But anyway, We'll go back into the comments. Spencer says Rasmus probably won't be fit until October at least. Yeah, 6 weeks. I think you are looking at October. I think you are looking at October as well. Niall says, who said that's a derby? That is nonsense. West Lothian and Fife. That's the first I heard about that. That's like saying Falkirk in the film is a big derby when it is not. Yes, absolutely. Gary Richard says Liverpool's 4-3-3, 4-1-4-1 formation will be a bloody hit. Curler says it's not Erik Ten Hag this issue. It's a shite squad. This window's a joke so far. And then he says he will be gone by Christmas and Ruud will be the new manager. I think we picked up on that as well. And yeah, his stats at Bayern are really good. They're offloading the team after not winning a thing last year. Yeah, absolutely. And they seem to be. I think they're getting Jonathan Tah, I think, from Bayer Leverkusen as well. It just goes to show again that you have a good season, you get picked off. Look at what's happening to, I think it's Girona, Bologna. They're getting picked off for having good seasons, and it's best of the crop, unfortunately. And Carlos says 8th if we are lucky. Nah, I think you'll finish higher than 8th. I think the team to worry for me is Chelsea. I just don't see any leadership in that team. I do not know what the plan is. I feel really sorry for Conor Gallagher. I think Conor Gallagher is a really, really good player. Someone who's come from the Cobham academy. Basically, Chelsea and Atletico Madrid agreed a £33 million bid, and Conor Gallagher is still to make his mind up. And Chelsea cut short his holiday, and now have told him that he's banished from the first team. just all wrong.
Chelsea
just all wrong. Yeah, exactly. But the one thing as well, I was actually thinking about this earlier. 35 million, Connor. 35 million this season gets you Kieran and Dewsbury Hall. 35 million gets you Emil Smith Rowe. Go back to Klopp, first season of Liverpool. Mane, 36 million. Next again season, Salah, 34 million. It just goes to show that this market is so inflated. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see. First of all, what have you made of this transfer window? Do you think the clubs are now really scared of buying because of FFP?
Probably. It's been a really dull window, hasn't it? It hasn't been fun
Nothing's happened.
I think I've had more fun talking about Anthony Gordon for the last 2 weeks than I think everyone has as well. But no, it's. I think teams, especially down the bottom again, I think they did exploit that PSR and FFP situation, didn't they? Because it was a whole merry-go-round, wasn't it, towards the end of June, where Newcastle and Aston Villa are doing the deals, and then Everton are also part of that, and this, that, and the other. And it's since then there hasn't really been any moves in the window. I do think though as well. I think a Copa America, a Euros, and an Olympics doesn't help that either. With what we've seen so far, but. Again, I think in the next month, I think from now until the end of the window, I think it'll obviously be one mad rush, won't it? So again, it might ramp up a bit more, but I don't know. I do think we are due one big transfer, I think, from now until the end, but who that'll be, I have no clue. But surely it's got to ramp up at some point, surely.
It's got to, because I've been kind of just being oh yeah, that happened. Yeah, transfers don't excite me anymore. You've got Fabrizio Romano saying all these stuff about players will go for this and players will go for that, and David Ornstein, he's got to be one of the best reporters out there anyway. But again, I remember looking in the days. Well, this is really going to show my age. But I remember teletext. I remember looking at that, and I'm like, okay, this transfer's happening. This transfer's this happening. But now you basically like people at ITKs. It just doesn't excite me, Connor. I don't know about you, but it just doesn't excite me anymore.
It still excites me. Even even the youngster that we signed from Chelsea, the academy guy, like that excites you. But I would agree. I think transfers are not the same as they used to be. Again, everyone knows straight away now. If not, again, everything's rumored and this, that, and the other. Like again, like for me, I think like people like Romano. Again, he works, and he gets his information and so on. But again, when you're tweeting out the same thing like 10,000 times over the same thing, again, it gets a bit repetitive and it gets a bit boring. I know plenty of people that just listen to the likes of David Ornstein, that it's one tweet and done, or one post and done. I think that's more the style of what people like, because again, we could all talk about Liverpool transfers. Again, look at multiple summers ago when we were speaking about Jude Bellingham for video upon video, and like it never went through again, probably till now, until Trent signs his new contract. I think that's all we're going to talk about is Trent going to go to Real Madrid. And again, transfers do be like that, but I still think they're exciting in many ways. But again, if you're constantly glued to other to certain journalists, then it does get a bit tiresome and boring at times. I would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Nipun. Hope you're well. Thank you for tuning in, my friend. Bug Up, he says, I honestly think South Clown is right around the corner for Manchester United, which the fans should be fearful of. Well, not what I've heard. I've heard Gareth Southgate might be lined up for Match of the Day, which would be Ian Wright's replacement, which I think wouldn't be such a bad idea. I think you do a good job on there as well. Hello, Siobhan. Hope you're well. Liverpool and United will both finish top four. We're all happy. I think it's possible. I think it is very, very possible as well. American owners for use as curlers. Yeah, absolutely. You're obviously talking about anything for the Americans to get their hands on, and we're obviously playing in South Carolina. Slot will expose 10 Harkin Das. I like that. I do like that. Was Manny 26 million? Something in the back of my mind thinks 34.
I think it's 34.
I think it was 34. So too many podcasts spouting crap. It's killed the transfer windows. Yeah, like I've
we're arguably to blame for that. We're arguably to blame for that.
But yeah. It is what it is, isn't it? We can laugh. Southgate would be ideal for the Glazers. Yes, man. Yes, he certainly would be as well. But yeah, if anyone hasn't seen, the new away kit was released today. I do have a picture of it. Somewhere. Yes. What do we think of this? I've got to say, it's very clean, and it gives me 1920 vibes. Connor, your thoughts? Oh,
I think Doug's internet's gone.
I think I'm back. Am I back?
Yeah, I think I think you went for a couple of seconds.
I went for a couple of seconds. Yeah. I think it's very clean. I think 1920 vibes. What about you, Connor?
I just pictured Gini Wijnaldum in it. I really like the kit, but yeah, I just pictured Gini Wijnaldum, Sheffield United away. Like that's the type of vibes going from the kit. Yeah,
I do as well. It's very, very nice. Although 80 quid, people, 80 quid for that is ridiculous. I've got to say as well, the training top looks nice. The dark, the teal blue, that looks really, really nice. I've got to say, and obviously Liverpool will be wearing that tomorrow against Manchester United, or Sunday morning, whatever you want to say over there. But sort of team-wise, Connor, I'm going to be honest, I don't think there will be too many changes. I think it could be probably the same sort of lineup that we had against Arsenal. What did you think?
I think it'd be the exact same. I agree. I think Slot wants to get a base on this Liverpool team, so I think it'd be carbon copy of of probably the Arsenal starting 11 that we saw. With maybe we might see again, maybe Wataru Endo come back in, but again, if the rumors are true that again Slot doesn't really like Endo in there, then again I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Szoboszlai and Jones in the double pivot again.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be so. What do you make of the Endo situation? I mean, I said I did the video. You did the video. The only way I can see him going is if we've got somebody instantly lined up, because there is now, to this day, 16 days until Ipswich away.
For me, it's more like I think Wataru Endo might leave the club before the end of the window. Again, that would obviously mean that Liverpool have signed a number 6, but I think as of right now, I would start probably Stefan Bajcetic ahead of him. Again, Slot seems to think he's not good enough for Liverpool. Again, obviously he helped us last year, and of course he was obviously really, really good, and a big part of Liverpool's success last season. But for the way we want to play with the midfielders, again, he's not that, is he? He's not a technical number 6. He's very much a, what we've seen under Jurgen Klopp in terms of, hard hitting, physical, that type of number 6, running the yards. Like that's the number 6 we've seen in the past. It looks like now we want a more technical number 6, or even, a hybrid 6. Like for me, the dream, I don't know whether or not with you as well, Doug, would be Adam Wharton from Palace. I think that's the profile that I think Liverpool wants. But again, you hope that that Liverpool might actually surprise us somehow and do something like that. But I would still keep Endo around personally. I think he can be that player that can just sit on the bench, win you games of football, coming off the bench, and that's how maybe his season is for Liverpool. But I think there's been reporters like I think David Lynch saying that if the bid's a little bit higher than the 12 million that was, or the 14 million euros that was spoken about, then Liverpool would accept it. And I think Liverpool would. I think if it got around to 15, 20 million, I think Liverpool would accept it and then have a look at who's on the market as a 6 for the Liverpool.
Yeah, Adam Wharton for me would be a very, very good player. I quite like Zubimendi as well. I don't know if we can afford him as well, but just as long as someone comes in, like I'm not going to get sort of too wrapped up in the fact that we haven't made a signing yet. And we were all said, weren't we? We were all promised that some things would happen in August, and it's now August, and I think you've seen journalists quote today that things will happen this month. So yeah, look, it's
I think as soon as we come back from America, I think things will be ramped up like to 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after this game as well. I know this might be a bit of an odd question. Have you seen any of Manchester United's games on pre-season? The only one I saw was Arsenal. Arsenal.
The only thing I've seen is United fans having a meltdown because Lenny Euro's injured. Like, that's the only thing I've seen of Manchester United this year.
Yeah, I know they beat Rangers. In Glasgow. Sorry, Edinburgh. Edinburgh. Yeah, that was Murrayfield. I forgot about that. Amad Diallo seems to be a player that's catching the eye at the moment. I think he's a very good player. I'm surprised he doesn't get much game time, and especially with the uncertainty over Marcus Rashford's future. As well, I think we might see more of sort of Ahmed this season in particular. But yeah, look, it's still Nana starts probably in goal for United. I know the Portuguese people I think are still back in back at Carrington, so we won't see Fernandes, we won't see Dalot. We might see Wan-Bissaka potentially. He could be on the way out as well, but. Yeah, I'm quietly confident for tomorrow. Obviously, any win against Manchester United, they'll feel the same thing as well. Any win against Liverpool is confidence building. So, how are you feeling going into this one tomorrow?
I just get players back in it. Like I think that's
Yeah,
the main aim. We spoke about United's injury problems. Again, Liverpool have been very fortunate so far in pre-season that and touch wood that nobody gets injured
yeah,
in this game, and that's the most important thing. And again, seeing more encouraging signs with the system again against Arsenal. I think what we didn't really speak about, but I think one thing that was most impressive, I think even Slot mentioned it, we didn't concede against basically it was kids against Arsenal's first team in that second
yeah.
half against Arsenal, and we didn't really concede a big chance like at all. So I think that's more of a positive outlet that Liverpool seem to be not conceding as many big chances as what we have done over the previous couple of seasons. So if we can get better defensively, then again, that's the way of winning Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and that's what we want at the end of the season is Liverpool to win them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think as well. Many people look at that Arsenal game, and yeah, obviously it is only pre-season, but they practically had, barring probably the goalkeeper and a couple of others, they probably had most of their first team out against Liverpool, Arsenal. And that, as you say, that second half was literally Liverpool kids against Arsenal's sort of first team, and it was very, very impressive. And people are saying that they're probably the favourites for the Premier League. I still say City are still favourites in any eye, but yeah, just very, very quickly before we obviously go into sort of score predictions as well. Arsenal, this is a big season for Mikel Arteta, isn't it?
He has to win. He has to win something this year for me.
Yeah.
Like there is no excuses anymore. Like you mentioned in terms of people's favourites, they're my favourites for the league at the minute. Unless City go out and sign someone to change my mind on that, I think City, it might be a farewell season for Pep Guardiola if he doesn't extend, of course. But I genuinely think there's no excuses for Arsenal now. They've had this team now for multiple seasons. They've gained obviously different. They've gained something extra with each season that goes by under Arteta, according to Arsenal fans again. But if they don't win the league, I'm very, very intrigued to see what their excuse is going to be, because they've got everything. Yeah. They've got the defense, they've got the midfield. Arguably, you could say they need a striker, a natural born killer in attack. But apart from that, that team should be getting up to 90 plus points. And if they don't, then they haven't, Mikel Arteta has no excuses. The Arsenal fans have no excuses to not win this league. Like, for me, they're either going to have a Liverpool season of 1920 where they completely beat everyone, or they're going to have 21-22 or not 2021 Liverpool, where because they've played their key players so much over the years in terms of Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, like those players, if those players get injured, they are buggered. And I think that's the big thing for Arsenal, is keeping hold of those players and making sure they stay fresh. But for me, they have no excuse to not to win the Premier League, in my opinion. And it might be a bit harsh on them, but again, I think they should be going on to win the league this year, with the way things are at the moment.
They have to win something for me. Because if they don't win anything this season, if they don't win the Premier League, they will always be known as the nearly men. Liverpool are the only team to stop Manchester City winning the title. That is the thing. That Klopp's Liverpool have been the only team to stop Manchester City winning the title. So, I've got to say, Arsenal definitely do need to win something. Whether it's an FA Cup, whether it's, I'm going to say they won't win the Champions League. I think, and I think as well, Carlos is right. Arsenal do need a quality centre forward to win the title, but the problem is centre forwards are like stardust. Like you have to spend big. you have to spend big on a centre forward, and I can't really say the only one that really would improve them for me is Isaac. But we know what sort of Newcastle and Arsenal's sort of relationship with each other is recently, and especially of the controversy of that game at Newcastle. Newcastle won't want to lose Isaac. They certainly won't want to lose, Gordon. They certainly won't want to lose, Bruno Guimaraes as well. But it's.
I've also seen people crying about Arsenal not going for Osimhen. This might sound a bit mad from me, but I think people going about, they're going to do a swap deal between Lukaku and Victor Osimhen. I think Victor Osimhen is basically Romelu Lukaku. I don't think he'll come to the Premier League and light things up like people think he will. Like, he may have, again, similar to Lukaku, might have a few decent games if he does join Chelsea, but he's not going to be, in my opinion, he's not going to be like this 30 goal a season striker that everyone thinks he's going to be. Again, look at last season. I know he was struggling a lot with injuries at Napoli, but he didn't really, perform amazingly last season for Napoli at all. Not even when, again, he was having a game, a few games of consistency. Didn't light up the world at Napoli. And I think he'll be the same. I think it will be a flop signing. I think if anyone gets Osimhen into the Premier League.
They were talking about a loan deal as well, Chelsea.
I mean, that's going to happen.
I can't see that happening unless Lukaku goes for, I don't know, 30 million or something. I just can't see anyone being able to afford Osimhen. And Carlos is absolutely right here. He says Arsenal's problems is they are focused on the Premier League, and it means they fling cups away. They've done that for ages, haven't they?
Yeah, 100%.
And Gary says Arsenal should have bought Tony. Well, they still could. They still could. Funnily enough, you're speaking about Tony, Gary. I did see a Man City fan saying that they should go for Ivan Toney because it's the kind of player Pep Guardiola would sign. Is it? I mean, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, it does. It does indeed. I'm just going to go back up the comments because I've missed a couple. But you don't hype a lot of transfers, so the big ones are a nightmare for this. Yes, absolutely. Stefan might start. I want to see Bajcetic start. I definitely do want to see Bajcetic start. Yes, you were always right. 34 million rising to 36 million. Thank you, Rods. Thank you very much. It's not often I'm right. I'm joking. Bajcetic and the only pivot, we might see that. We might see that as well. Carlos says we do look good in parts, but it's the same old player, so it's hard to get excited right now. They're taking to debate again. Always have been. Arsenal need the quality centre forward to win the title. I think we've said that. Spent over $1 billion on that team. Hello, Ali Noose as well. Hope you're well. Hope you're very well. And yeah, Arsenal should have bought Ivan Toney, says Gary. Right, score predictions. What are you going to go for?
3-1 Liverpool. Plain and simple. 3-1. I think get the win, come back home, and then a full week then preparing for Sevilla, hopefully.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to the Sevilla game. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this game. I've just seen Gary's comment. It ain't happening. I'll go 2-1. I'll go 2-1 again. We seem to be going back to sort of 1-0 FC and 2-1 FC. So yeah, I'll say 2-1. I'll go for Harvey Elliott to score. I'll go for Salah to score. And for United, Ahmad. I'll go for Ahmad Diallo. He's already scored against us, hasn't he? As well. Gary, as much as I would like this to happen, I don't think it's going to. But yeah, I like you said that. 7-0, says Gary. Spencer says 2-0. That could easily happen as well. And Curlers says, I said 3-2 United, typical pre-season. overkill. And look, Uncle Rod is joining in as well. Everyone's going for 7-0. It's not going to happen.
It would be funny for it to happen again. It would be funny.
It would be hilarious. It would be hilarious anyway. But Connor, thank you very much for coming on the channel once again. It has felt like ages, but it is so good to do a video with you again. Tell the people where they can find you.
So yeah, thank you for having us on as well. It has been a while, as well, so it's good to be on. Yeah, the Cop Council on YouTube, normally live at 9 p.m. Nearly every day. So again, if you guys want to come over and check us out, then please go and do so as well. But yeah, looking forward to the season, and hopefully, like I said at the start, we get some good news in terms of signings. Maybe next week, fingers crossed. But yeah, thanks for having us on.
Maybe on the way down to Liverpool next Sunday. That would be lovely. As well, I need to actually be very, very careful because I actually do have a 40th birthday party on the Saturday, so I need to be careful.
No, bloody hell.
Yeah. So yeah, I am up very early. I think I'm up at 5:30 in the morning and traveling down for 6 a.m. So that is not nice. That is not nice at all. But no, I'm looking forward to it as well. But yes, please go check out the Cop Council. As Connor did say, he is live usually at 9 o'clock. I think I am going to be sort of going live maybe at 8. I've been kind of having a bit of a discussion with Rebecca, and it seems to be the way going forward. I just can't really do in the daytime now because obviously I work obviously 8:30, 4, and by the time basically the days that I work from home, I think are the ones I really do podcasts on: Monday, Tuesday, and a Friday. And obviously I've got my new Premier League podcast as well to do as well. So busy man. But yes, I really do appreciate everyone who's tuned in. If you haven't already, please do remember to hit the like button. Please do remember to hit that subscribe button. As I say earlier on, a lot of you are watching the channel but are not subscribed. What are you doing? Please do hit that subscribe button. Obviously, do hit the subscribe button on Connor's channel as well. And yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back for a Sevilla preview as well. And yeah, obviously, in the early hours of Sunday morning, there'll probably be a reaction to Manchester United. Maybe just a wee short. I don't know about you, Connor, but for me, shorts are doing really, really well for other people's channels, and I thought, well, it's probably the right way to go, shorts. I think.
Yeah, no, it's probably with certain things, it is probably the best way. Was it just a quick 30-40 second video and you sort it? Like that's the best way with shorts. But yeah, you know, they are good, to be fair.
And these previews have been doing really, really well as well. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's obviously watched the previews. And yeah, Liverpool will round off the US tour against Manchester United, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But until then, from myself and Connor, it is goodbye, and you never walk alone. Cheers, Reds.